This is KTN News Desk. Unfortunately, you will not be able to get your News Desk sports news today. I want us to quickly go back to a developing story at the Milimani Law Courts. 14 top officials implicated in the 4.5 billion Kenya shillings Kenya Power Company scandal are being arraigned in court. Top on the list, the managing director, Ken Tarus, and his predecessor, Ben Chumo. About 12 of the officials have made way to court. Most of the arrests, which were done over the weekend, they are expected to take a plea. Let's go over there live. Once again, our reporter, Francis Ontomwa, has been following up on this, and in our subsequent bulletins, he will be giving us more details. But for now, let's just take a look at the court proceedings as they happen at the Milimani Law Courts.
Truly, true or not true?
Should be numbers, sir. Seven. Yes.
So,
7.
Samuel Ndirangu, true or not true?
Not true.
Number 8, Stanley Muturi, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 9, Benson Muridi, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 10, Peter Musigi, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 11, John Ombui, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 12, James Njenga Mungai, true or not true?
Not true.
Number 13, Grace Wanjira Mungai, true or not true? Absent.
Your Honor, the identified. This person is not in the country. She's in the UK.
If you want to make application now,
We'll do that
we
later.
should clear, then we let
It's okay, just to inform.
number 14.
16, MS Mua Trading Company Limited, true or not true? Count 2,
Yes.
aiding the
go on.
commission.
Let's proceed.
Aiding the commission of a felony contrary to section 128A, subsection A of the Penal Code, Cap 63, laws of Kenya. The particulars are that on diverse dates between 3rd August 2012 and 12th June 2018 in Nairobi County within the Republic of Kenya, being public officers employed by the Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, jointly with others not before court, in the course of the employment, aided the directors of and MS Mua Trading Company Limited, a liability company, to fraudulently acquire public property from Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, to wit US dollars 2,014,808 US dollars and 15 cents, being payments for the supply of substandard transformers by tender number KP1 9AA-3/PT/09/11-12. True or not true, Dr. K. Chumo?
Not true, Your Honor.
True or not true, Beatrice Meso? True or not true, KP Mungai?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 4, true or not true, Joshua Mutua? Number 5, Dr. Ken Terus, true or not true?
Not true.
Number 6, Abubakar Soleh, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 7, Samuel Ndirangu, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 8, Stanley Mutiri, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 9, Benson Muridi, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 10, Peter Musigi, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 11, John Ombui, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 12, James Njenga, true or not true? 13 and 14 are absent. Number 15, MS Mua Trading Company Limited, true or not true? Count 3, you are charged with abuse of office contrary to section 46 as read in section 48, subsection 1 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003. The particulars are on 5th May 2015 at Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited in Nairobi County within the Republic of Kenya, being the Managing Director, CEO, the General Manager, Corporate Affairs and Company Secretary, General Manager, Business Strategy, General Manager, Commercial Services, General Manager, Finance, General Manager, Human Resource and Administration, General Manager, Information, Communication and Technology, General Manager, Infrastructure Development, General Manager, Network Management, General Manager, Regional Coordination and General Manager, Supply Chain, respectively. In abuse of your respective offices, facilitated the directors of and MS Mua Trading Company Limited to fraudulently acquire public property from Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, to wit, $2,014,880 and 15 cents for the supply of substandard transformers. True or not true, Chumo?
Not true, Your Honor.
True or not true, Beatrice Meso?
Not true.
True or not true, KP Mungai?
Not true.
True or not true, Joshua Mutua?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 5, true or not true, Ken Tarus?
Not true, Your Honor.
True or not true, Abubakar Swale?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 7, true or not true, Samuel Ndirango?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 8, true or not true, Stanley Mutwiri?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 9, true or not true, Benson Muridi?
Not true.
Number 10, Peter Musigi, true or not true? Number 11, John Ombui, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 12, James Mjenga, true or not true?
Not true.
Until 14, absent 15, MS Mua Trading Company, true or not true?
Not true.
Count 4, you are all charged with willful failure to comply with the law relating to procurement contrary to Section 45, subsection 2B, as read in Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, number 3 of 2003. The particulars are on diverse dates between 3rd August 2012 and 12th June 2018 in Nairobi County within the Republic of Kenya, being public officers employed by Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, its functions concern the management of public property, willfully failed to comply with applicable procedures and guidelines relating to procurement by failing to inspect and test the supplied transformers by MS Mua Trading Company Limited, thereby facilitating the directors of an MS Mua Trading Company Limited to fraudulently acquire public property from Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, to wit, $2,014,880 US and 15 cents for as payment for substandard transformers. True or not true, Dr. Chumo?
Not true, Your Honor.
True or not true, Beatrice Meso?
Not true, Your Honor.
True or not true, KP Mungai?
Not true, Your Honor.
True or not true, Joshua Mutua?
Not true.
Number 5, Dr. Teru. True or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 6, Abubakar Swale. True or not true?
Not true.
Number 7, Samuel Ndirangu. True or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 8, Stanley Mutwiri. True or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 9, Benson Murithi. True or not true? Number 10, Peter Musigi. True or not true? Number 11, John Ombui. True or not true? Number 12, James Njenga. True or not true? Number 13, Grace Wanjira. True or not true?
4 to 15.
10, MS Mwaua Trading Company. True or not true? Count 5. You were charged with conspiracy to defeat justice contract. Count 5, you are charged with conspiracy to defeat justice, contrary to Section 117A of the Penal Code, Cap 63, laws of Kenya. The particulars are on the verse dates between 7th May 2015 and 12th June 2018 in Nairobi County within the Republic of Kenya, being the management team of Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited conspired to defeat justice by sanctioning out of court settlement at the High Court of Kenya in Nairobi in HCC civil case number 217 of 2015, Mua Trading Company Limited versus Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, which action led to the unlawful payment by Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited a sum of Kenya shillings US $2,014,000 $880 and 15 cents to MS Moore Trading Company Limited as payment for the supply of substandard transformers. True or not true, Dr. Chumo?
Not true at all.
Number 2, true or not true, Beatrice Meso? Number 3, true or not true, KP Mungai?
Not true.
Number 4, Joshua Mutua, true or not true? Number 5, Dr. Ken Terus, true or not true? Number 6, Abubakar Sole, true or not true? Number 7, Samuel Dirangu, true or not true?
Not true.
Number 8, Stanley Mutwiri, true or not true? Number 9, Benson Murizi, true or not true? Number 10, Peter Musigi, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Number 11, John Oboy, true or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
Count 6, James Njenga Mungai, Grace Wanjira, John Anthony Mungai, and MS Moore Trading Company. The 4 of you are fraudulently charged with acquisition of public property contrary to Section 45 of Section 1A, as read with Section 48 of the Corruption and Economic Crimes Act 2003. The particulars are on the vast dates between 3rd August 2012 and 12th June 2018 in Nairobi County within the Republic of Kenya, being the directors and a limited liability company, fraudulently obtained public funds from Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited, a public entity, to wit, $2,014,880 and 15 cents, being payment for the supply of substandard transformers, via tender number KP1/9AA-3/PT/09/11-12. True or not true, James Njenga Mungai?
That's true.
True or not true, Grace Wanjira? True or not true, John Anthony Mungai? John Anthony Mungai?
Absent.
Number 4, true or not true, MS Moore Trading Company Limited. Count 7, we have James Njenga Mungai, Grace is absent, John Anthony Mungai, and MS Moore Trading Company. They were charged with conspiracy to defraud contrary to Section 317 of the Penal Code, Cap 63, Laws of Kenya. The particulars of the offense are that on the vast dates between 3rd August 2012 and 12th June 2018 in Nairobi County within the Republic of Kenya, being the directors of MS Moore Trading Company and a limited liability company, jointly with others not before court, conspired to defraud Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited the sum of $4,081,920 and 29 cents by entering into a contract for the supply and delivery of transformers as per the specification set out in tender number KP1/9AA-3/PT/09/11-12, while knowing that you had no capacity to deliver. True or not true, James Njenga Mungai? True or not true, John Anthony Mungai? True or not true, Grace Wanjira?
Next,
True or
call
not
out the
true,
next.
Moore Trading Company?
Your Honor,
So I've entered plea of not guilty with respect of accused 1 to accused 12 and accused 15 in counts 1 to 7.
Your Honor, I wish to point out one issue.
Yes.
The accused number 12 in count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, took a plea in, on behalf of the 15th accused. That is number 12, Mr. James Njenga.
Accused 12 in count 1.
Count 1, count 2 to 4.
And 4.
Also count 6
Just a minute. You are saying he took plea on behalf of?
of the 15th accused, who is actually a company, limited liability company.
He's not a director in that company?
Yes, we wish to draw your attention that he is.
A director?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And also in respect to count 6 and count 7.
That is okay. At least
Yes.
he's in court.
Your Honor, we also wish to apply for warrants of arrest in respect to the 13th and 14th accused persons.
I thought we had an application. Before this application for warrant, we had intended to make an application for deferment of plea, and I had signified to this court that I would be applying for a deferment of the plea. And Your Honor, if the court agrees with us
Yes.
on the reasons for deferment, then there will be no need for warrant of arrest.
Let me finish.
It's okay.
Then you respond.
We are actually applying for warrants of arrest in respect to the 13th and 14th accused persons who are not in court. There has been no demonstration as to the reason why they are not in court today. They must give compelling reason, or the advocate must give compelling reasons as to why the two accused persons are not in court.
Yes?
No information was presented to the DCI why the two accused persons are not in court, why they have not even presented themselves to the police. At least, if there was good faith, it should have started from there.
Yes.
That's all.
Fiona, I must say that for counsels, for those accused persons, are surprised by this application, because as my learned sister and colleague stands to apply for a warrant of arrest, she has not in the first place demonstrated that these persons were ever notified to come to court this afternoon or at 9 o'clock today. Your Honor, it is practice and it's known in law that a person who is required to attend the police is always summoned, and this is a formal document. That person who is served signs, and then if they do not honor the conditions of that summons or order, then a court may issue a warrant of arrest. But Your Honor, this evening, it appears that the prosecutions come before you with a notion that they can come and just say, issue warrants of arrest. Do these accused persons not have any right at all in law, Your Honor? May I request counsel to confirm to us when they serve notice on our clients, so that we can then be able to answer you. But the simple thing, Your Honor, is that our client today has not been served with any notice to either appear before a police officer or to appear in court. It is a complete travesty of justice for the prosecution to seek this horrible punishment of a warrant of arrest for innocent persons. It is as if these people must hover around the court at all times, so that when the prosecution wants them, they can come. Your Honor, I beg you to refuse this application and defer this application, this matter, Your Honor, as Professor Ojeda is about to request you. And we did, Your Honor, it's a matter of courtesy, serve notice that we wish to proceed to make an application for deferment. So, Your Honor, with your permission, I'll request that the professor addresses you as to why we wish to have the pleas for those accused persons deferred. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, very briefly.
Yes.
We wish to apply that the pleas for the 13th and 14th accused persons be deferred for reasons that the 13th and 14th accused persons are out of the country in the UK and will be coming back to jurisdiction next week, the close of next week. The reason why the 13th accused is out of the country was for medical reasons, and she had been accompanied by the 14th accused, her son. Your Honor, just for record purposes, the 12th accused person is in court. The 13th accused person is the wife of the 12th accused person, and the 14th accused person is the son. So it's a company, Your Honor, and these are directors in that company. We even have the medical documents. Had the prosecution asked me in the morning, as candid as I am always, I would have supplied these documents. The 13th accused person is an elderly lady who went for normal procedure out of the country. We can supply the documents, and we can even supply the court with the itinerary that will show that they had booked their flights to the UK and have booked a return flight, completely oblivious of the possibility that some investigation or some charges will be brought to court. These are innocent Kenyans. Your Honor, as the court will direct, perhaps within a time frame that the court will set, within 7 days or 14 days, they will be here once the 13th accused person has secured a treatment. She'll be here, and we'll be able to address the court accordingly. Your Honor, the medical records show that the 13th accused person is a 70-year-old person, 70 years old, and she had gone for medical attention for coronary artery disease and specialized attention for a condition that she suffers, diabetes mellitus, Your Honor. And these are delicate conditions, Your Honor. Your Honor, they left the country on May 3rd. That is not yesterday, Your Honor. May 3rd. Two months ago. Your Honor, our prayer is this. The copy we give him the original. Your Honor, I pray that you defer the plea for these two accused persons. They have indicated their intention to appear before the court. In fact, they only informed that the first director, the 13th accused, had been arrested. And you've noted that this gentleman, the old man, is pleading on behalf of the company. These are people who are solid. They don't run away from jurisdiction. They are Kenyans, they are all senior citizens, and they're here to stay. Your Honor, we'll be praying that you defer the plea for these accused person, as the court will direct, and will communicate that much to the accused person and ensure that they're here in court to take plea on their back, Your Honor. Your Honor, the second point, if I may be allowed at this point, Your Honor, to make an application for bail so that the prosecution can respond comprehensively to both applications since I'm on my feet.
Have you served them with this?
Your Honor, unfortunately, we only had one cop, they can have sight. Mr. Muteti is a good man.
We have not actually been served with this. Maybe we can have an
I'm sure when
opportunity.
he sees a very nice person, he will.
We are giving them soft copies.
Even Yamosi is very nice.
Yes. Yamosi as well. Your Honor, if I may make an application, or they want to respond for bail, Your Honor.
Your Honor, perhaps you could allow us to respond to this, then we can proceed to the next step.
It's okay.
Thank you. With the permission of my learned senior, Ms. Nyamosi, allow me to respond to the submissions by Mr. Wandugi first. On the question as to whether or not we served notice upon the accused persons, it's a bit surprising, Your Honor, to hear that come from Mr. Wandugi, who is in court on account of the absent accused persons. That by itself is indication that they are aware this matter is before this court today, unless he was hanging around, as he suggested. Number two, my learned friends clearly from their submission indicate that they have instructions before you this morning, or sorry, this afternoon, to act on behalf of the two accused persons who are absent. So again, it can't be said that they are unaware of these proceedings. As for the medical document that has been given, this document is dated 5th July 2018. 5th of July 2018. And from submissions made by Professor Ojenda, a senior counsel that I respect, you realize this document is very suspect. Very suspect. It was authored from Doctors Plaza Nairobi Hospital on 5th of July 2018. On the one hand, you are told Grace Wanjira left jurisdiction way back in May. So what is the evidential value of what is before you as a medical document? Your Honor, to say the least, this is a worthless document. At worst, I would call it a forgery and an attempt to wink this court into believing that indeed this solid lady, from their own words, is out of the country, and she has been out of the country since May. And perhaps that explains the reason why they have only one copy and did not want to share with us this document in advance. On the third point, the 12th accused is a co-director. He has answered for the company, the 15th accused.
Where did he get the date of May? That they left in May.
And you are told of the close family connection between him, the 13th and 14th accused persons. Your Honor, he surrendered himself to the CID this morning, unlike the rest, some of whom did that on Saturday and others on Sunday. He surrendered himself this morning just before they could board the vehicle to this court. That goes to show, Your Honor, one thing, that to the 13th up to 15th accused person, actually from the 12th to the 15th accused person, this is not a serious matter. It's a matter of public knowledge that the DPP communicated his decision on Friday afternoon or late early evening of Friday. And the entire weekend, under Section 60 of the Evidence Act, Your Honor, will take judicial notice. This matter has received wide coverage. Wide coverage. Solid men and women, such as the 13th and 14th accused persons, would keep tabs with what is happening in the country, even when they're out there. And I suppose that is what they did. And instructed counsel to appear. Your Honor, proceed and issue warrants. Let them come before this court. Seek to lift those warrants when they are here. But on the face of this document, Your Honor, reject it in total. Because this by itself is evidence of persons who are not serious with court processes. That's what I would wish to say.
You know, if you would permit us, just as a matter of correction, we may not have a right of response. But a point of correction.
We have a right of response.
Yes, yes.
You have a right of response, please.
And even if we did it, we'll create it.
Yes, in the interest of justice, Your Honor, my learned colleague, Mr. Muteti, tells you that the medical document is not correct, and that it seems to be alleged that our client left in May. Your Honor, specifically, we do have information, and if we had a little time, Your Honor, we would be able to supply you with data that indeed the accused person left the country on the 9th of July 2018 via Emirates EK720. Even the time is indicated, Your Honor. I'm saying this, Your Honor, because you've been told that we are presenting you with a medical document, which is a forgery. Because the accused was away, she cannot have gotten a medical document as the one we have presented. And Your Honor, it takes a very brave man like Mr. Muteti to accuse counsels of forging or bringing documents that are forged. That's why I find it important, Your Honor, for me to respond. At least what they would have done, and I don't propose they will want to listen to me, is to ask to investigate that document. But you can't just come and say it's a forgery. It casts very serious suspicions on us as counsels and the officers of this profession. So, Your Honor, we should not be stopped from clearing this air that indeed, Your Honor, the accused persons left on the 9th of July, and they were not aware. But the prosecution is now telling you these are matters of public knowledge. So all the provisions of law as to the service of notices, the issuing of notices by the police, the issuing of summonses for one to attend court are now of no consequence. They are of no consequence. The law, Your Honor, is of no consequence. Today, we are starting to build another jurisprudence so that even those who don't read the papers to know when they are wanted in court. They must watch TV to know when. We cannot go on this. We are a country governed by the law.
That's outrageous.
And what it is outrageous, the proposition from that side is completely outrageous. We are mutilating the law, Your Honor. And it is not acceptable. You are being asked to issue warrants of arrest for people who they have failed to show that they have been notified. But because they are telling you from that side, issue warrants of arrest. Your Honor, let justice shine.
Based on judicial notice.
And Your Honor, you are being asked to take judicial notice. Judicial notice of what? Judicial notice of the fact that people no longer need to be served with documents to attend court. You know, we are starting to apply jungle law, and we are going to prejudice accused person.
That's correct.
I plead with you, Your Honor, to invoke the law as it is. And I am not, Your Honor, solely to say that the law is being abused by the prosecution. And if we start with this kind of state today, we are going again to start on the wrong footing.
Your Honor, before we close, we also agreed as defense so that, Your Honor, we can go to the main thing. If Your Honor can, I know Your Honor is going to prefer a ruling in this matter. If Your Honor, that can wait until we have argued the bail application. If your ruling can wait. So that, Your Honor, we can move faster, and also we can kill, I don't know, I'm not in the business of killing birds, but the English say you kill two birds with one stone. Your Honor, please, I'm pleading with you. If you can defer that ruling so that we can, because the reason why we are here is not about this, some of this application you are hearing. The reason that we are here is to take plea and also have Your Honor, bail should be actually automatic. But because of the precedent that we have, we are here and prepared to address you on the question of bail. So, Your Honor, if you could defer the ruling until we have argued the bail application, please, Your Honor.
Remind him so far we have not yet been supplied in the charge sheet.
May I confirm, as the advocate who had made the initial application, that yes, we are agreeable, Your Honor, to first and foremost deferring the ruling on the warrant, whether or not a warrant should be issued, Your Honor.
You are not responding?
I'm responding to the single question that the 12th and 13th accused persons are deserving of deferment of plea.
That's what I want to hear in response to their submissions.
Yes, my learned friend, Mr. Muteti, has referred to knowledge from the media, and that the accused persons would have had knowledge because they should keep a tab or touch with the country, Your Honor. That submission, Your Honor, is a first. I think I've not heard it before. It's a new one. But clearly there's no legal obligation to read newspapers. On the contrary, the law will presume that an act that should be done by the prosecution, which is serve and notify, should be undertaken. There's no measure of knowledge, Your Honor, that my clients could be reading newspapers or watching CNN in the UK, and that they would know that the charge is coming to court today. Your Honor, you have even been told, Your Honor, that the 13th accused person, the director, 12th, who took a plea on behalf of the 15th accused person, presented himself today. Your Honor, that is evidence of good faith. Solid person, obedient Kenyan who came to court after knowing that other people had been charged. And that is why he's here, Your Honor. That itself, Your Honor, should be evidence, sufficient evidence, that these accused persons are deserving of deferment of bail because the plea has come when they're out of the country. Your Honor, instruction was communicated to us this morning and communicated to us by the 12th accused person that his co-directors are out of the country And we are the ones who advised that he pleads on behalf of the 15th accused person, the company. A corporate decision made, Your Honor, and you can see evidence of cooperation with the law. Your Honor, just to add to what learned friend Wandugi has said, we are not and have never been in the business of forging documents. We wouldn't afford a forge. I mean, that would be a bit below us. We can't afford. I'm sure Nketi will apologize to me at an appropriate time. We don't forge documents. We can never do that. Because we officers of the law and officers of this court. And that document was presented to us, Your Honor, by the 12th accused person as to the status of his 70-year-old spouse. This is a septuagenarian, too old to go around forging documents. And lastly, we pray that the outcome of this ruling be determined at the end of our application for bail, which we intend to make. And, Your Honor, in the interest of time, because we know that time is important. But, Your Honor, let me just signify one point, and maybe the court would want to rule on it. Your Honor, a culture has now developed where the police arrest people on a Friday. In the case of the second accused person,
In the middle of the night.
they appeared in a house at 1 a.m. in the morning. First accused person. And they don't just come, they come with pomp.
If the court may allow me.
No, this is just for direction. I'm saying from the vice, for direction.
Because we also need to respond to that kind of an attack on the prosecution.
It's not an attack.
And the
It's not an
police.
attack.
Just wait.
It's
You
not a
can
statement
seek-
of fact. It's
You
not an
can
attack.
seek for leave to address the court. Let me finish.
Yes, Your Honor, it's not an attack. It's just a scenario that is emerging. It's a trend.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wandugi has talked about the rule of law. Your Honor, these accused persons are senior managers with Kenya. In fact, they run the power company. These are general manager, chairman, director, CEO. People with non-aboard, substantive people. Your Honor, why is it not easy to summon parties to the station and to only go and arrest those who resist or refuse to appear? The culture of breaking into people's houses, of picking up accused persons or individuals who are suspected on a Friday evening, Your Honor, perhaps should catch the attention of this court. Because by the time the accused persons are in court today, they've already spent 2 nights, 3 nights in cold police cells. Your Honor, so that these are individuals who are presumed innocent by the Constitution of this country. I wish the court could pronounce itself on the innocence of accused persons before arrest and charge and conviction, Your Honor. That's an important point that needs to be covered by the court, my Lord. And the manner of arrest, Your Honor. Your Honor, even when an individual does not resist arrest, they are still pushed or shoved into waiting vehicles. The nasty experience of the second accused was that it's not just one vehicle or one policeman or 2 or 3, but a contingent of 15 cars
To arrest a woman.
to arrest a lady of substance
At the wedding at night.
at 1 a.m. You know, that culture with guns, you said with guns. You know, with guns.
That cancer must come to an end.
You know, that is not good for this country. It should catch the eye of the court that guidelines are given. Because there are Kenyans of goodwill who will cooperate. They would not want someone, they would appear at a police station, record statements, would not go anywhere because they have a foundation in this country. Fiona, if I may stop there.
Yes.
Just allow the court to answer. But we are asking that you defer the ruling on this matter to allow us make an application, short applications for bail, because as it were, Your Honor, the accused persons have already spent 2 nights in cells, Your Honor, 3 nights, Your Honor. And Your Honor, if we stay longer, they may not know their fate, Your Honor, and now there's another trend of another 2 days. We are not sure about the 2 days. But we wish to make an application at least early in time so the court can consider our application for bail. But I suspect that the prosecution may not oppose bail. Do save time. That's all, Your Honor.
Your Honor, in addition to what Professor Jenga and Mr. Wadugi have said, my name is Goita. I'm acting alongside Professor Jenga and Mr. Wadugi for the 12th to the 15th accused. I am the one who accompanied the 12 accused to the DCI this morning. And while there, I have been engaged in this matter from morning, and I came to court and I have received lots of documents on my phone, on WhatsApp, and on email regarding the 13th and 14th accused person. It's only that I couldn't come out and start printing them, including photos of the accused who are not here in hospital. But given time, we will be able to supply all these documents. It's only that the pronouncement, which I only saw on Twitter on Friday, that there will be a matter. It was just, today is the first working day. So we were not able to compile all these documents and be properly instructed to come today. But we are going to provide those documents showing that the accused persons are abroad, they are undergoing medical procedures, and they will be here in this court to answer to these charges. That is all.
Yes.
Your Honor, my senior Professor Ugenda has put forth some matters of evidence. It would have been best if he presented this in form of an affidavit. We would be more than happy to respond by way of an affidavit too, because what he's presenting with you is issues which we can also respond via an affidavit. I don't think it would be fair for him to speak off the cuff as if we could not have something to say about it. And I don't think from his submission, it appears that even the court is being attacked, that it might also delay with the ruling. So I think if he has issues and which are factual, let them put it in form of an affidavit instead of attacking the prosecutors, the investigators, and possibly even the court without a way of dealing with it in an affidavit. So I think it's only fair that we deal with matters in that manner.
Thank you. You are through?
Yes.
It's like dancing in the night. In the night. The word night. Dancing in the night.
just a brief ruling. It's now about 3:30 p.m. And from the applications being made by both sides, this matter is bound to take time, as I may be forced to retreat for several rulings before we move to another file, that is a anti-corruption case number 25 of 2018, which is pending. There is evidently an indication that bail will be contested.